So Deion Sanders had a quote when he was interviewed on Good Morning America, and he had this to say: "The only way I'd consider is to coach my sons, not sons, sons. I love Colorado. I love my Buffaloes. I love everything we're building. I love everything we're doing, and I love Boulder, Colorado. I do immensely." So if you're a Colorado fan, good news or not good news, depending on how you feel about Prime. He will be back for the 2025 year in Colorado. But beyond that, man, I really feel like depending on where Shador lands, I really, really feel like he could end up being a head coach in the 2026 offseason. Now, I don't know what the logistics would be to get his other son to play with Shador. They'll have to figure that out. But the reason why I feel this way is because, okay, right now, the draft goes like this. Tennessee, number one overall. I feel like it's really safe to assume that they're going to take Cam Ward. And beyond that number one pick, I don't know where Shador will end up. Will he end up with the Giants, the Browns, the Raiders? Will he drop that far back? I don't know. I really don't. But let's say hypothetically he does fall to the New York Giants. Brian Dable is on an extremely, extremely hot seat right now. The fact that he still has a job is quite controversial, depending on who you ask. I don't know. I really think they should have cleaned house this offseason, including the Giants GM, but fair play. It looks like Brian Dable and the GM Joe will be back for the 2025 year. The fact that he let Barkley walk and he broke 2,000 yards and he went to your division rival and you still have a job in 2025 is just nuts. It just shows the incompetence of that organization and the owner, Mara, but whole other conversation there. Like I was saying, just for fun, hypothetically, if he does go to the Giants, more than likely, Brian Dable will get fired after the 2025 year, especially if they start off slow, which they probably will, since Shador is a rookie and they're the Giants. And that talk of Prime potentially wanting to coach Shador will just heat up as the year goes on and as the weeks pass. This will be a headline, man. Wherever Shador goes, this will be a headline. Prime potentially going to coach his son one day. So whether he goes to the Giants, the Browns, wherever, the Saints, the Jets, Prime and Shador will always be a topic. It'll always be linked to the media. And this is just the beginning of just a long kind of process until it actually happens. Because I really think it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. And I could be wrong, maybe not in the 2026 season, maybe in the 2027 season. We'll see. We'll have to find out. A lot of it really depends on where he lands, but I just wanted to use the Giants as an example because I really feel like it fits in that timeline of him being an NFL coach in the 2026 offseason. But you let me know if you agree with me. Do you think it's inevitable for Prime to one day coach Shador? Or do you think it'll never happen? Let me know in the comments below. Now, I'll tell you what, man. If Shador completely flames out and he looks terrible, or if he just redshirts his first year, then yeah, Prime probably isn't going to be the head coach of wherever Shador is in the 2026 season. Absolutely. But the way rookie QBs have been handled the past 5-10 years, redshirting is becoming more of a rarity, so I don't expect Shador to redshirt, especially if he goes to the Browns or the Giants or the Saints. Both of those teams are probably not going to have a quarterback unless I have no idea. Sam Darnold hypothetically hits free agency, and one of those teams pay him a boatload of money. I don't know, but lots of variables going on right now, but I just think it's inevitable. Now, honestly, I don't think Shador is a top 5, top 10 talent, but I'll tell you what, man, he is fun to watch, and he is young. You know, he's not even in the NFL yet, so he has room to grow. He has potential, and I want him to succeed. I don't want any player to fail, you know? And I just feel like, me personally, I want him to go to a good franchise and a franchise that's not at rock bottom. Because I really feel like if he goes to Cleveland, I mean, before Baker Mayfield, that franchise was just a quarterback graveyard. What was it, like 20 quarterbacks since like 2000? It's just crazy, man. I don't think Shador could overcome that franchise. And I just feel like the best team for Shador to land on, for him to succeed, man, it's tough. I do like him on the Raiders. I do. Him and Brock Bowers could do something. And I just believe if he were to get drafted by the Raiders, I just feel like Tom Brady is just going to have such a big impact on the Raiders team in 2025 and going forward that hopefully, like, I don't know who they're going to hire as the head coach, but I just feel like they would have a good plan for Shador if they drafted him. I just feel like competence could be coming back to that franchise. So I maybe like him on the Raiders. And there are 2 other teams that are pretty fascinating to me, maybe 3, depending on how far he falls in the draft. I would love to see him in Miami as well. I really think if some way, somehow, Shador falls to Miami, I think Mike McDaniel should definitely pull the trigger on that. Because, one, you still have Tua there. He could redshirt. He could learn a lot. And right now, you have Tyreek. You have Jalen Waddle. You have an elite run game. And you play in a warm weather city like Miami, I feel like that could work as well. Arizona, Marvin Harrison, a lot of buzz on whether or not the Cardinals are going to trade Kyler this offseason. I feel like that would be a good environment with him as well. You got James Conner, McBride. A good spot for him. A good spot for a QB. And the Seahawks. I don't know if he's going to fall that far. We'll see, but I feel like the Seahawks have to move off of Geno Smith, and that's another good thing about the Seahawks, man. He doesn't have to start week 1. Redshirt, learn from Geno, but pull a Michael Penix from this past year, put him in until it gets really, really ugly. And I just feel like those 3 teams would be really perfect, real good situations. And you let me know if you agree with me or if you disagree with me. It'll be a really fun draft in the sake of Shador Sanders. Will a team reach for him? How far will he fall? Like I said, I want him to succeed, so I hope he falls really late in the draft so he ends up on a mid-tier sort of team. But you let me know what you think will happen, and you let me know if you think Shador is going to be any good. And what do you think about Coach Prime and his potential future in the NFL? If you made this far, please subscribe and like the vid. It'd help out your boy a ton. That's all I got for right now. Peace.
The Jets will try to hold on to the football. This has been one big turnover after another, Phil. Just what the coaches talked about in our meetings with him this week about ball security. It's not happening here.
Well, it tells you that players did not listen to the coaches, that's for sure, because ball security is not what we're seeing out there. I know this. Next week in practice, there's going to be a lot of drills about hanging on to the football.
The Jaguars defense brings in an extra member of the secondary. They'll go nickel.
Pass is intercepted.